Can you tell me what is TECO Chemicals turnover now?
We are approximately around $50 million. Sometimes I score a century in golf to 100, but I try to.
You don't want that in golf. You're happy with that in cricket, but you don't want that in golf.
We don't want that in golf. And then suddenly they're realizing, who is this guy? So they start asking what you do for a living. I built that house for my father in the Himalayas, and I gave him a gift in 2020.
Oh, fantastic.
So after winning this particular bid, the client gave us next 48 ships.
Hello and welcome to At Work on Connected to India. My name is Himanshu Verma. At Work is a podcast where we delayer ideas, concepts and professionals at work. My guest on this edition of At Work is a Delhi boy who exemplifies hard work combined with the opportunity equals success. Coming from very humble background, he went on to become the managing partner of a Norwegian company in the shipping and logistics industry. Today, he holds a double-digit equity in the Oslo-headquartered TECO Chemicals, which was once at the brink of shutting down. Join me in an At Work as we deep dive into his remarkable story. Gaurav, Saini, welcome to At Work on Connected to India.
Thank you, Himanshu. Thank you for being me here, and so grateful, so humble. You have invited me here on Connected to India platform, and I wish this conversation can lead to few of us, your viewers, and can see that a middle class boy also can do wonders,
So we're going to dial back a bit. You're from Delhi. Gaurav, tell us about what was the younger Gaurav Saini like?
Younger Gaurav was a naughty kid. I was not a studious child. I'm always a child who is very ambitious, who's a kind of a risk taker, who always want to jump down and see what's the height it is. During my childhood, I remember we have two houses in our neighbor, and they are building up, doing the construction there. So they're building the basement and then the floors up. So me and my childhood friends, I was 8 years old or 9 years old, something like that. And I said to them that why do not I jump down and to see what the height is?
No way.
So I jumped down, and then I had to see that, okay, it's not dangerous. You all can jump.
So a risk taker who also led people into paving a path for others that this is what you can do. I'll jump first and then you guys can decide whether you want to follow or not.
Yes.
That sort of a guy. And what was your first job?
I got this campus placement into B2B industry. It's a website solution-based company which sells websites and do search engine optimization for B2B industry.
Interesting. So from selling websites to selling chemicals, it's a long journey. But in the interim, when you left India, you did not come to Singapore. You went to Liberia. Generally speaking, people have a fairly negative view of African nations. But how was your experience in Liberia? And why did you go to Liberia?
Punjabi wants to go abroad. That's how things started.
It's in the blood.
It's in the blood. They always say blood. So it's like this always in the blood. But that time, my senior, I remember in the company in B2B sector, he got that offer, but he declined it. And he said, Gaurav, why don't you give the interview? And I said, okay, why not? I didn't even ask. I said, Africa. I said, okay, I will go. I even didn't know that this is Liberia. And I flew to Liberia. And the day I landed, I realized that this country has no electricity. This country has no water running in the tap even. I feel I learned a lot from Liberia. How to be happy. So there is a saying that what I learned in Liberia was how to live without resources. So if you live without resources, you can have luxury in less resources.
And how long was the Liberia stint?
It was for 7 years.
Wow. So obviously you started liking the place.
Yes.
And then how did the maritime sector happen? Was it Liberia, Delhi, Singapore, or was it Liberia, Singapore?
Actually, I never thought about jumping these sectors or industries because for me, a salesman is a salesman. From Africa to India have two reasons, because Ebola is coming up. Ebola is hitting the country. 2014, my daughter born in February.
Did you meet your wife in Liberia?
No, I know her since my school days.
Okay. School romance.
School romance, so yes. Because of the medical facilities, there's no medical facilities, no school and education. There's a school, but education is not to that level. And I do not want my child to be here and, I can't give her the best of it. So we moved to India. And then I got on a call from a Singapore company. And then they said, we are looking for a salesman to serve Indian community, specifically in Singapore, and to shipping. But I said, I don't know anything about shipping. But they said, as long as you are a salesman, what problem do you may have? Such a beautiful country, so safe, so much of growth, different culture. They welcome foreigners. They respect foreigners. So I said immediately yes. I didn't ask why.
Was this company TECO Chemicals?
No.
Okay.
I worked for some other company. I was also not happy in the job because I was not given the chance to prove myself. And I was about to go back to India. And suddenly someone calls me. He said there is a job in TECO. And they're looking for, again, salesman, Indian community. And then I have given 2 interviews round over Skype, online interview, and then they said you need to come to Norway because the boss wants to meet you. And then I flew to Norway, and then I remember it is 11th of January. And he said, okay, Gaurav, the company condition is this.
Was the boss the founder of the company?
The founder of the company. Okay. And he said that the situation is this. We had been one of the good company for marine chemical business, but from lately 4 years, we came back to zero because of our internal disagreement with our partners in the past. So I have no time to focus on this particular business. So we are looking for someone to run this show. If you prove it in next 3 months, you can stay.
It's beginning to sound like an Akshay Kumar pot boiler,
Oh,
Punjabi Munda rolls up his sleeves and gets into the thick of things.
I said, fine, go back. They said, okay, you are hired. My early days when I come to Singapore, a cricket club, which is a maritime cricket club.
Yeah.
So I started knowing these people. Because of that network, one of the consultant who's my good friend now, he contacted me for this job.
Yeah.
Because if I would not be playing cricket for this community or this shipping industry club, I won't get a job either. So I start playing cricket with them, and then I play a slightly good cricket as a batsman. So I start scoring runs for them. And then suddenly they're realizing, who is this guy? So they start asking, what you do for a living? I said, I do this, I do this, I do this. He said, why don't you come to office tomorrow? They said that, okay, we are the company who also buy marine chemicals.
And by this time, you had already joined TECO Chemicals?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But you had not started actively selling them?
I've been knowing them before I even joined TECO, but I have no idea about they could be my customer because I was just playing cricket as just to, over the weekend and to make network.
You were one of those guys, you used cricket to further your business.
So I start knowing these people, and then they start asking me, out of 11 players in the team, 10 are from the different companies. Some is at this director position, some is the manager positions. And they said, Gaurav, okay, what you do for a living? Come to my office next week. I went to their office. Okay, if you provide me good service, if you provide us good product, if you be competitive, then we can help you. Otherwise, we cannot help you. Okay, fine. I just need an introduction. I need just opening door. I got this opening door, and there how I start selling marine chemicals in Singapore.
You were given a 3-month window, right? And then what happened when you did your first appraisal after 3 months, and then fast forward to you getting managing partnership?
So company is very kind to me. First 3 months, I have just started playing cricket, going around, and the club also have a soccer team. So I start playing soccer for them as well to get more people who don't like cricket and play soccer, because soccer is always my first love in sports. I get into soccer also, and then start meeting soccer players. So all the first 3 months is a hardcore sales. Meeting people, ask them to give you the business. And I'm a typical sales guy. Consistency is something that I would like to do. And those who don't play soccer and those who don't play cricket, I got their name from these other people's. And then when I call them, they don't pick up my phone or they don't reply my text. So what I do during lunch hours, I go and stand down to their lift lobby. And I just presume that, oh, I'm seeing you by luck, by chance. So can you give me 1 minute, just talk to me for a while, and I can walk down to your lunch area and then just listen to me once. And then if you don't like it, then throw me out of your office. That's how I also gained the customers. 2017, there's a big change comes in the maritime industry. Regulation passed by IMO about decarbonization and going net zero by 2030. So 2020 IMO rule regulation come where you need to reduce your sulfur content. Means either you buy a high fuel oil, which has a low sulfur content, and if you're buying HFO, which has a 3.5 and above sulfur content, you need to reduce to make it 0.5 and less. So those who are using high fuel oil because of a low price, they need to install a system called scrubbers. So during every cricket game, I saw these superintendent and fleet managers talking about decarbonization and everything. Something very new to me. I sat there and listened about decarbonization. So they said we need to install a scrubber system and this, and we might need a chemicals about it. So my ears, okay, they need a chemicals, but chemical was an easy way to supply, but logistic is the biggest challenge for them. How to supply this 10, 15, 20 cubic of chemicals on board while the ship is on sea or at the dockyard or container terminal or wherever. How are you going to transport this? So my competitors were focusing on supplying chemicals and I was focusing on logistic arrangements. So I do the backward integration from ship to the manufacturer of chemical. So how to supply before I source the chemical. So 2017-18, I remember we got a call from a few customers and then they said, we are installing scrubber systems. Do you have chemicals? Yes, we do have chemicals. But he said, yeah, but everybody has chemical. Your competitor also has chemicals. So what extra you can do? I said, we can put it on board. We will make sure that it's inside your scrubber systems. Thanks. So they said, okay, how are you going to do it? I said, we have a full logistic chain. So we get this logistic chain arranged and then they asked me, we need to supply this particular chemical in Korea and it's a remote shipyard. So I arranged my team. I somehow managed to get a logistic arrangement in Korea. So I flew to Korea myself. And then we arranged the chemicals of 40 cubics to be pumped into the scrubber system tanks. And then the trucks are there, the hoses are there, everything is there. So they have the offer from the competitor that we can supply you chemical, but we cannot pump it into your tank. But I have the arrangement of pump into the tank. So we got win that particular order. And then I went myself and I pumped that from my own hand. Connect the hoses because I would like to learn how this logistic system work. So I can apply the same formula in other part of the world.
Was this something you introduced to the industry?
Yeah. So we become market leader after that. So after winning this particular bid, the client gave us next 48 ships. Once they give us next 48 ships, the news spread. When the news spread, we become the benchmark, the market leader, and the growth trajectory of TECO's goes 500% more from 2018.
Can you give me an idea of a deal size?
Every deal was not less than $20,000.
Okay.
Something like that. 50.
So the big problem you solved was that there were companies which were selling chemicals, but they had the logistical, the people who wanted to get these chemicals on the ships, and you solved that problem.
Yeah.
And you saw that as an opportunity. You had the chemicals, and then you also solved the logistical problem.
Logistical problem.
And which is what gave TECO a special status that this company does end-to-end delivery of chemicals and all the other things which come with it.
The turnkey solution.
Okay. And that is the time when things started changing for TECO in Asia.
In Asia and globally.
Through your initiative.
Through my initiative.
Okay.
So we start getting more and more visible, then we are falling short of hands. Then we start hiring
That's a good problem to solve.
That's a good problem to solve. Then we start hiring more people.
Yeah.
Globally. Then we have more stock points in China, in Korea, Fujairah, Singapore, Antwerp, Amsterdam, Canada, Hamburg, Norway itself.
So is your mandate global now? You started with Asia. Now are you working with TECO as a global managing partner?
Yeah. So my ownership stands in a parent company, which covers all our 6 offices worldwide.
Can you tell me what is TECO Chemicals turnover now?
We are approximately around $50 million.
Fantastic. That's quite a turnaround, Gaurav.
So we started when I joined, it was 2 customers we have who buy 100,000 Singapore dollars annually.
Hmm.
And those were not, these customers also leaving us.
Yeah. What is the name of the founder who hired you? And tell me, what are some things he says to you when you meet with him?
Oh, his name is Ture Anger, and like Norwegian pronunciation, Ture.
Okay.
So it's a Norwegian guy, crossed 60 years old now, and been into multiple business. He's holding the company with 100% stakehold until I got the share in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Very hardworking, challenging guy. He used to challenge people, and I think now I'm challenging him. So TECO Chemical is the first business he started in 1994.
Mm-hmm.
So that's his baby.
Mm.
Okay, so he's told me that I'm giving you my baby, and I think you could be a good new father.
Mm.
So he put that kind of a trust in me, and I'm a bit honest and kind of a spiritual guy in that way. So I feel like that's touched me, and then I feel like, okay, now this is a company that I would like to work for, die for, live for. And he didn't blink twice to tell me that, Gaurav, you also own this company now, and this is the share, I'm going to give it to you.
Mm.
The good thing is about him, he inspires me a lot in that way.
You work really hard. What do you do for leisure?
Leisure is, I'm still playing cricket over the weekends to keep myself fit in a way. But I start changing my games to golf recently.
Okay.
Because it's not something that cricket, maybe you can't, something that you can play it like until you turn 60, but I need something to playing continue until I'm still walking.
It's a great game, yeah.
So I start playing golf. It's still in a learning phase. I just started 1.5 years or 2 years back. So still my handicap is not improved. Skill, sometimes I score a century in golf to 100, but I try to.
You don't want that in golf. You're happy with that in cricket, but you don't want that in golf.
We don't want that in golf. So, latest game I played, I think around 92 or something.
Not bad. Tell me, who inspires you? From sportsmen to business people. Can you name a few people who you look up to and inspire you?
Inspire, I mean, I love to see in mirror. So, middle class boy, have big dreams, because I always feel like you must have big dreams. I get inspired from people who are around me.
Mm-hmm.
My wife can inspire me. My colleagues can inspire me. I'm a good listener. I learn every day from everyone. I cannot name you anybody that this is a person who would inspire me, but when I try to get all positive things from everybody and leave the negative behind. So inspiration is all around the corner.
So concluding question, what would you say to a younger Gaurav?
I would say thank you to the younger Gaurav. The younger Gaurav was very ambitious, and younger Gaurav wants to do good for his family. Younger Gaurav has a dream. I still remember my father used to take us to all these hill stations in India and ask us that one day I wish I could have a home there. So we always thought that we will have a home in the mountains, but middle class family were to afford to buy a house. I would say thank you to that younger Gaurav that he carried that dream of his father. So I built that house for my father in Himalayas, and I give him a gift in 2020.
Oh, fantastic.
So that's what I would like to say. Thank you to the younger Gaurav for doing this, and keep being humble. And that's what I have been coming up all my life. And I'm very happy. So I have no regrets. I have zero regrets in my life.
Fantastic, Gaurav. It was absolutely amazing speaking to you. I always enjoy speaking to you and wishing you good luck. I really hope that you grow TECO Chemicals many times over under your leadership. And good luck to you. And thank you very much for being on Network on Connected to India.
Thank you, Himanshu. Like I said, thank you very much. It's always pleasure talking to you. And thank you for having me here. Thank
Thanks.
you so much.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed the interview, please press the like button. Definitely share it ahead and tell us how can we do better. Thank you very much for watching.